Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sharia Maurice and I'm a homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos ages 2, 4, and 6. And today I'm going to share with you how to get started with classical conversations without a community. I have done a couple of videos surrounding classical conversations these last few weeks, and in my sharing that, I've hoped to kind of help you see that you can do classical conversations on your own without a community. Now, I'm sharing these because I have gotten a lot of questions about that very thing, classical conversations without a community. And I just want to reiterate that I'm not against classical conversations community, and if I could be in one, I would, but financial restrictions have prevented us from doing that, and I've gotten into a good groove of doing classical conversations on my own at home. And so I want to share with you how you can start in the same way doing classical conversations on your own at home without a community. So let's just say that this is you starting homeschooling and everything for the very first time, and you've never had experience homeschooling or classical conversations at all. So how I did it whenever I started doing classical conversations on my own at home was, first you just need to choose a cycle. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with where everyone else is at in classical conversations if you were a part of a community? Or do you want to start on your own and do it on your own schedule? So for example, classical conversations in the fall of 2022, this year, they are starting cycle 2. So you can choose, if you're not going to be a part of a community, to start cycle 2 as well. You just won't be in a community. Or you can do like I did and just start at the very beginning with cycle 1. I like to start things fresh at the beginning, and so I chose to do cycle 1. Classical Conversations was currently in cycle 3 whenever I chose to do cycle 1. So I'm always one step ahead of them or behind them, depending on how you look at it. So you just choose a cycle, and then from there you're going to want to purchase the app that correlates to the cycle you chose. There are 3 apps for 3 different cycles. You purchase the app that you are going to work through. After you purchase the app that correlates to the cycle that you want to start, then you pick a start date. Classical Conversations only has 24 weeks, so just in planning purposes, if you choose to homeschool year-round, you have a whole lot more time than 24 weeks, obviously. And so you can start your CC memory work later than you actually start your school year if you want to do that, or you can start your CC memory work before and end it before your school year ends. It's totally up to you, but that's just something to keep in mind. You need to decide on a start date and be aware that there are only 24 weeks of actual memory work. Then after you pick your start date, you're going to pick a day of the week that you want to introduce your new memory work. We're going on the assumption here that you're going to be doing it weekly, and so let's just say you pick Monday, or you can do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it is, but let's just say you pick Monday. So on Monday, when you start your school year, or on your start date, you're going to introduce all of that new material. So week 1, cycle 1 if you choose, or cycle 2 if you want to keep up with classical conversations, you're going to start going through each subject and learning that new material. So for math, for example, you would be learning counting up to 15 and counting by 2s, skip counting by 2s. So you would sing that with your kids. You would sing the correlating song that you find on your app, and you would just practice counting from 1 to 15. And if you want to do it like they do it in classical conversations communities, you would do that 7 times for each subject. So you would recite your 2s 7 times. You would recite 1 to 15 7 times. And then you move down to Latin and you recite the song 7 times. And then you move down to science and you recite it 7 times for all of the subjects. Now, there are some songs that are not included on the app. You don't have science songs and you don't have geography songs. And so you would want to create your own songs for those, or you could find songs on YouTube. That's how I've done it. It's a free option, or I think you could even purchase the CDs that include songs for all of the subjects. Don't quote me on that though, because I've never purchased the CDs, and I don't in fact know if they have songs for geography and science. So you might want to do your research on that. But the free option is finding songs on YouTube. That's how we've done it. And if I haven't ever found a song that I don't like or that doesn't work or whatever, we just make up our own. We have a handful that we've made up on our own, and it's been just fine. So that's what you would do, and you would just run through all of the memory work. And so now you're essentially just recreating a community day at home. So you could do, on that Monday that you're introducing all the new material, you could do a hands-on science experiment from the book that Classical Conversation sells. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll post it up here for you to see, and I'll link it down below. You could choose one of those science experiments, and then you could do a fine arts activity. You could do a drawing. There are plenty of ideas and things on Pinterest that you can look up and do if you want to. And that would be the end of your Classical Conversations Community Day. From there, for the rest of the week, you would review that material. So what I do is I just review it once for each subject. I don't do 7 times. Starting out, this is what I did. I would just go through each subject once in our morning basket. So Monday, we've reviewed everything 7 times. Tuesday, we review everything just once. So math, counting by 1 to 15 and counting by 2s. And then science, just review it once. History, just review the song once. And then each day thereafter, 1 time, and that's it. And then you're going to want to start incorporating some review days in there where you review previous week's work so that you can keep storing it in long-term memory. So I would pick a day, like Monday is your new grammar day. Tuesday you could do history and geography and review a couple of weeks of those. Just pick 1 or 2. And then Wednesday do math and science, and then just review a couple weeks prior to what week you're currently on. That way you're still getting a little bit of everything. Now, you also want to get the timeline. The timeline, you can purchase the CD to get the song for the timeline, or you can find it on YouTube. That's what I did. I've only ever heard the timeline song from YouTube. So you can learn it that way, and you can just play it on repeat, maybe every time you get in the car. That's the first thing you listen to. It's like 10 minutes, so if you're going for a 10-minute trip anywhere, you can listen to the whole thing. And then that's all of the Classical Conversations curriculum. Now, for the rest of the week that it's not a community day, you still have to do your reading and your math curriculums. If you're a part of a Classical Conversations community, you still have to choose your own math and reading curriculum anyway, and you're still doing it at home on your own. So that's really no different. You still have to do those. You still have to choose those curriculums and do it on your own at home. And when it comes to math and reading, it's all the same thing. You learn math one way and you learn reading one way. The process is the same. It's just for the curriculum, it's how it's presented, and that whatever works for you depends on how your student grasps a certain concept. So you can't really go wrong in picking a curriculum. It's just whatever works best for your student. But math is math, reading is reading, and they'll learn it eventually. Okay, so just be encouraged there. And that is how I started doing Classical Conversations curriculum on my own at home without a community, just recreating what I could get in community at home and going from there. So that is how it looks. I have gotten a lot of questions on Classical Conversations, and I think that people are deciding whether they want to join a community. Since now we're in summer, now's the time to decide. And I totally get it. I was there too, and it can be expensive, and so you might really like the curriculum, you just can't afford the cost of it, and so that's totally understandable too. Many times homeschoolers are a single income family like myself, and that's why it makes it a little difficult for us to be able to afford something like that. But I would say that if you are in the camp where money isn't a factor, and you can afford it without a doubt, then do it. Just be a part of a community. It's gonna bless you no matter what. And if you can't be a part of a community, but you love the curriculum, you love classical conversations and the idea of classical education, then you can do it on your own at home and you will be just fine. So I hope that this video helped you. If it did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the little bell icon so that you can be notified of my newest videos, and I will see you in the next one.